Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dragon Ball figure news video. Thank you guys for being patient on this one. I know this one is going up on Tuesday. I did not have time over the weekend because there were a ton of birthday festivities going on with family and friends yesterday yesterday when I'm recording this, which would be Sunday, and then obviously Saturday as well, so I didn't get a chance to record it then, and Monday I had work, so I'm recording it Monday night. So thank you guys for being patient on that one, much appreciated. But let's go ahead and get into this last 2 weeks of figure news. We actually had some very cool stuff come through in the world of figure news. Of course, as per usual, we cover the last 2 weeks since the last video, and we go through the new articles on dbzfigures.com, and then we go through the boy at Baggy's Twitter. So let's go ahead and talk about what we got for these 2 weeks. First of all, we had actually a really cool attraction here. This is now open in New York City until April 25th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Located at 605 Fifth Avenue. New York, New York. 117 is the zip code. They'll be displayed the newly announced Form Cooler and hit figures along with the statue of Goku. Hopefully this comes to the West Coast, Los Angeles after New York. I'm hoping it comes to Chicago because I'll definitely make the trip out there for that. But as you can see here, I guess it's just links to the original thing. Basically, Tamashi did actually talk about this a little bit on their own official social media page, but they did actually have a pop-up shop in NYC, which was pretty cool, where you could literally just go take a look at some of the stuff that, they had for sale. While we read the next article, let me see if I can't actually pop it up for you. That's a very funny name for this article here. Looks like the official Dragon Ball site is trying to put us out of business. They plan to launch a new site, 5 different languages for products and games. English will most definitely be one of them, and no word on what for will be. We'll provide a URL when this will be. Dang, bro, my boys are gonna get done dirty? No, that can't be. I will say, even if that does happen, or they make it, I'm sure that they won't cover it in as much detail as they do here, so I don't think that they really have anything to worry about in terms of taking the L on that one, I guess. But nonetheless, it will still be cool to get a official Dragon Ball website. By the way, I did find the tweet for the pop-up shop here. As you can see, this is a look inside. Tons of different things for sale here. You can see a bunch of SH FIGUARTS Ginyus. That did not zoom that in at all. Thank you, Twitter. You can see a bunch of SH FIGUARTS Ginyus here. Looks like we got some Nendroids as well. There's also some, I don't actually know what those are. They kind of look like Nendroids, though. We have Goku there. Obviously, we have the SH FIGUARTS Blueku on the wall. FIGUARTS Zero Tanjiro, it looks like right there. All kinds of cool stuff. I would love to be able to go to this, but obviously it's pretty expensive to be able to just go for the sake of the pop-up shop. Would make a cool video, though. But as you can see, they have some stuff on display here. We have some various different things. We have an Evangelion. I don't know what line that's from. This is the FIGUARTS Zero Tanjiro, I believe, though. Or no, maybe this is their new highly articulated minifigure thing. Either way, as you can see, SH FIGUARTS MUI Goku. We have the Imagination Works Goku. We have a Gundam representing my homie Darth Vader. We also have a Godzilla monster here. I don't actually know what monster that is. I don't think that's Mothra. My Godzilla knowledge is not the best, I'm going to be honest. We also just have another angle here. This looks like from the side that Goku is actually on. And then we also have the SH FIGUARTS Cooler, which is pretty cool. And of course there's Hit in the background. I would love to be able to go there and do this. This is open until the 25th of April. I don't know, that would be a really cool weekend trip, but the plane ticket would be pretty expensive. But I would definitely be willing to do it, even just to go for the day and film a vlog or something like that. That would be cool. But Regardless, very cool that they're doing something like this. It's always nice to see Tamashii and I guess by proxy Bandai doing really, really cool stuff like this. Because obviously this is something that they don't have to do. But would definitely go love to visit that. We do have some updates from the Dragon Stars series. As you can see here, new figures from the Dragon Star series, which are sale outside Japan, mostly in North America, will be releasing soon. The Broly for $20 and the Power-Up Pack. Let's see. Power Pack Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta, $25. So I assume that this is just a way for them to resell all the Goku and Vegetas they have at the factory. And then give them some effects. What is Vegeta's final effect here? I'm not too sure. Why does Goku have a Kamehameha? He has a Gallic Gun, or a Final Flash is what that looks like. And they both have power up, but he has like a charged one? Why couldn't they just recolor that for Vegeta? I don't know. Kind of weird. I wonder if he's actually just missing a piece and that's really the promo art. That'd be really funny. But then as you can see here, we have this base Gogeta, which actually doesn't look too bad. I kind of want to pick up a Saiyan because I do have one Dragon Stars figure that I still need to review. But nonetheless, it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't usually recommend getting Dragon Stars. I mean, you can see that this guy's kind of stinky. SH FIGUARTS is usually the way to go. Dragon Ball Games update. We're not going to take a look at that because obviously it doesn't pertain to us with figures. We did talk about this a little bit last week, but as you can see here, for whatever reason, the set of figures featuring Bardock in 4 different color designs released for pre-order last week, but I didn't see much coverage on this. This is from the Master Stars Peace line, and is where the same figure is colored in different ways, all available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for about 66 buckaroonies. We did look at these last time, but just as a little bit of a reminder, 2 dimensions, the tones, the original, and the brush version. I don't know which one I like the most. Probably the manga dimensions one. That's usually the way that I lean when it comes to these sort of things. Oh boy, I can't wait to get to that one. All right. So we have Dragon Ball weekly news, as you can see here. The only thing that wasn't covered was the official release of the Funko Pops in Japan. They were not officially released in Japan until later this month. The next issue of Dragon Ball Super manga. Finally, we have a special guest who talk about the Dragon Ball Warriors card game. Nothing too crazy here in terms of Dragon Ball figure news. But it was cool to obviously see them talk about the Funko Pops in Japan. I did think that that was quite interesting because I actually didn't know that apparently Funko Pops like aren't actually a thing in Japan. I honestly did not know that. Or at least the Dragon Ball line isn't, which you think would be like a perfect line to have be available in Japan. But these are going to be available the 27th in Japan. And actually, crazy enough, I believe on the original promotional material, I saw these going for around 20 bucks, like around 2,000 yen. And on the TL, I saw somebody was taking a picture at a local store of theirs for like 2,500 yen, which is around 25 USD. And that's crazy, considering that Funko Pops are obviously not that expensive here in the US. They range anywhere from about $10 to 15, 16 bucks. Obviously, if it's a little bit of a bigger one, it's sometimes 17. And then if it's like a mega one or a giant one, I believe there's 6-inch would be the size. Of course, it differs. But for this standard size, right, they're usually anywhere from like 10 to 15 bucks. So kind of crazy that they're that expensive. I guess they can figure... Maybe it's like the opposite way around this time. You know how it's a lot of the time like people in Japan realize that they can get people overseas to overpay because they have to import it either way. Maybe this is the opposite thing where they realize that they can get those people to overpay because they have to import it anyway. I don't know. Kind of a little bit scummy if you ask me. I mean, both ways, of course, but... I was so sad, bro. I was literally like, the only reason I found out about this was because on my TL, I saw somebody who was actually, what do you call it here? Let me see if I can pull up the interaction. Who was like taking a look at some of the figures for like Funko Pops and saying that they were excited for them to come to Japan. And I was like, bro, that's like mad overpriced. I'm so sorry you have to pay that much. And they were like, huh? Kind of crazy, bro. Let's move on to the next thing, though. If I can find this interaction, I will. So, this... Oh, boy. Oh, my gosh. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, This is something that I really wanted to talk about on this episode because there is some major shenanigans going on here. And I've seen a lot of people really excited for this figure, and I would honestly tell you, hold your excitement for now. So, this figure from FIGUARTS Zero seems to have come out of nowhere, depicting Goku in the Super Saiyan 3 form surrounded by a golden dragon as he unleashes his Dragon Fist. I don't collect this line, but I'm seriously considering getting this. Release date is August 2021, and a cost of 8,500 yen, so about 85 bucks USD. On a separate note, X Plus has listed a Golden Frieza release in the same time frame. Really looking forward to this as well. Hopefully it's a different post from the Final Form Frieza from a few years ago. I didn't actually know that, but that's really cool. So here's the thing. This figure looks absolutely incredible. I think that there's no denying that. The FIGUARTS Zero line has always been a line that has been kind of praised for its quality and obviously cool effects and whatnot. But here's the thing. So I'm sure a lot of you remember what happened with Gogeta. This is from that same line, the SH figure, or the the FIGUARTS Zero Gogeta from the Janemba movie. And judging how that figure turned out, I don't think I will ever pre-order one of these figures ever again, because I just don't trust Bandai and Tamashii to do a good job with these. Now, I thought because Tamashii was on the mic with these figures, you know, we would be actually having a little bit of quality control when it came to these things, but it still seems like that is not the case considering how Gogeta went. Now, all things considered, these original production images for this figure do look really good. I do personally think Goku's face looks a little bit goofy, funny enough. It looks kind of meh. And funny enough, the only person who I've actually seen say that is Baggy. I can't believe I am agreeing with Baggy on a negative opinion, but I am. I think Goku's face looks a little bit goofy, and even on like the Instagram comments on Tamashi's Instagram, I haven't really seen people talk about that. Though, I can say the dragon looks absolutely fantastic. Literally no flaws on the dragon. And I mean, looking at it from the back, it looks fantastic. I would almost consider buying it just to display it that way, because it looks really cool. Like, maybe if you were able to get like a Hyrudigon statue or something like that, and then pose this guy at the bottom looking up, that would make a really cool display. I would definitely be down for something like that. But all I'm going to tell you is, especially since this figure is obviously quite a pretty penny, being at around 85 bucks. I'm just warning you, because I've seen a lot of people talking about how that they are very interested in getting this figure, and I can't blame them, because from the initial images, it looks super good. Even some of my figures homies who like just collect once in a while some stuff, they hit me up and they're like, yo, this looks fantastic. Just be wary is all I'm going to tell you. I would wait, honestly, on pre-ordering it personally. By the way, I did find, as we move on to the next piece here, I did find this interaction on the TL. This was pretty crazy, actually, to see. So here was the image that I saw, right? As you can see, these are all individually 24,000 yen. I think that these are imported from America, because the ones that are coming to Japan are the newer Final Explosion Majin Vegeta, when he first transformed into Super Saiyan, the Namek Goku. There is Super Vegito, there is, I believe, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and one other one. So these look like they are imported. My man said I wondered if these were already out. And then I said that's way overpriced. And he said, what's the original price? And then I was just telling him, you know, basically around 10 to 15 bucks. And he was just saying, you know, well, unfortunately, import costs are really high, which I definitely understand. Yeah, as you can see, this series will start this month in Japan, but it's over 2,000 yen. So kind of crazy. And my man was just saying that he's going to get Super Vegito and then see how he goes from there. Which, I mean, the thing is, right? In a case like this, obviously when you're importing something and it's really expensive to import it, especially when it's like not that expensive in its original state, sometimes it's just worth it more just to get like the overpriced version that's like in your area that they bring over from the official company, just because it's less of a hassle. So I definitely respect the grind, but I just wanted to point this out there. I don't know if I have anybody from Japan who watches these, but hey, figured I might as well mention it, if anything, because it's just interesting, even if you don't live in Japan. Alright, so a bit late, but this is this week's Dragon Ball news. The biggest news this week is the release of Shonen Jump tomorrow, which include the full chapter of the Chapter 70 of the DBS manga. All the figures have been previously covered. Banpresto's Q Pasake. By the way, I heard someone pronounce that from Bandai the other day, and I still don't remember how to pronounce it. I gotta go back and watch that video again. I gotta find it. But as you can see, these are all up for pre-order. These guys are about $54 on the Big Bad Toy Store. And as you can see here, we have both of these available for pre-order for about $27. I don't know if I would recommend getting this whole set because we saw finals of this set last week, and they were kind of stinky looking, I'm not going to lie, which is really unfortunate to see, but some of them are definitely not too bad. We will also see this promo image a little bit later, by the way. This is the actual promo image of the Goku, which I know makes it look even better, but like that angle, bro, just looks so goofy. I don't know. Just kind of funny looking, if you ask me. Also, this is a little bit of a different angle than the one that we saw before. Yeah, it just looks a little bit goofy, bro. I don't know. You can definitely let me know what you think in the comments of anything, but the rest of it is just talking about the figures that were already previously mentioned. And this Gogeta, we will actually see finals of him later, so we're not going to take too much of a in-depth look at him now. As you can see here, for the Dragon Ball figure news, we had the release of the re-release rather of the Master Stars piece Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now, what's kind of funny about this is that I don't know if the homies. Whoa! Spoilers, bro. We'll take a look at a little bit of that later, because well, we get some more pictures of it from Baggy a little bit later, but. Funny enough, I think whoever wrote this article, I was trying to scroll down to see who wrote it. Oh, it's Shinra. This is actually incorrect because if you guys remember from like 3 figure news videos ago or something like that, it was actually found out, I guess, or shown, whatever you want to call it, by the homie Baggy. He was saying that Bandai initially sent out the wrong images and that they sent out the images of Gohan without any battle damage and that the actual figure has the battle damage on it. So I think that kind of got misconstrued here, funny enough. We also have, as you can see, the Grandista Manga Dimensions UI Goku, which actually looks fantastic. If this thing wasn't $70, I would pick it up easily. But it's still so crazy to me that Bandai is overcharging for these figures so heavily. I got the original version of this guy, which I guess is technically the overseas version because that was the one that was available at like the US retailers for $15. That is a disgustingly good price for a figure of this size too. We're not going to take a look at this stuff quite yet, just because we'll take a look at them in detail a little bit later. But in terms of other figures, this week's topics did also include the release of the Super Saiyan Goku and the Kid Goku, which we will also see a little bit later from the boy Baggy. But as usual, of course, shout out to the homies at DBZ Figures for always holding it down with the latest and giving us some nice summaries. Let's go ahead now and hop over to the boy Baggy's Twitter. So, as you can see here, we ended right there talking about these 2 figures right here, which is really cool, obviously from the upcoming Ichiban Kuji. And we have some final images of the Gohan and Goku from the eye catch from the GOAT, as always, Omacha Headtala, bringing us the fantastic Dragon Ball figure reviews from the Japanese side of things. I think this figure looks good. I will say, compared to the original eye catch, the face does definitely look a little bit dopey, I think is a pretty good way to describe it. He looks very good next to the rest of these guys, though I'm definitely going to end up getting this whole line. I think I have most of them pre-ordered already. I'll have to double check. Here we go. So as you can see here, right, this is a good comparison. So let's have this open in one tab and then this one open in another tab. It is very, very close, but I think that there is definitely something that's just like a little bit different. Obviously, it's hard to take this 2D image and make it 3D. That's always the case with figures like this, where it's not just like an original design. They're literally taking an art piece and making it 3D. It definitely looks a little bit off, but I still think that the figure looks really, really good personally. Interesting that also my man tries to always give some anatomy when it comes to his reviews. But Gohan also looks really good. I'm glad to see that they actually did a lot of great work. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. On this side of the figure. Because, of course, you know, when it comes to backs of the figures and Bandai, a lot of the time they don't like to color the back of the figure, and this is just him kind of like analyzing the head and stuff like that. But it's good to see that they actually gave some detail to it. All right, moving on up here from Abby, new heat changing Trunks and Vegito blue mug. Huh, very interesting looking. Okay, moving on up. Amazon US has these boys up for pre-order. Nice, nice, nice. Amazon US also has the CNC Ozaru Vegeta in stock. It's not a big figure, but better than nothing. Maybe worth picking up to display with the July Vegeta. And maybe the CC Ozaru displayed slightly higher than the July Vegeta. Yeah, this figure, I actually got to see this in person, and this guy is actually really tiny. I was very surprised at the size of this guy, but I do think that this figure would make a great display with, like Baggy was saying, of course, the upcoming Ichiban Kuji Vegeta. But if you have maybe the Omnibus Vegeta, the one that is obviously the giant grade 8 figure, I think that would pair really well with this guy. And then maybe a figure of the battle damaged armor Vegeta. A good one for that would be the Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum one. And you could do like a transformation thing, because obviously this one's like almost mid transformation is kind of the way that I like to look at it. I do think that this guy, funny enough though, would almost scale a little bit better with the SH FIGUARTS grade 8 Vegeta, just because I think that size is a little bit smaller than the Kuji one. I could be wrong on that though, but from what I've seen, it kind of seems that way. Good looking figure though, nonetheless. All right, the EX Kuji Planner, in an interview with Takamatsu, work ace of the series. So happy he's getting, his talent is getting the recognition and work it deserves. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so as you can see here, Takamatsu, we talked about him before. He's just one of the sculptors who sculpts Dragon Ball figures, and he sculpted all these figures that you see here, which is awesome. So it's always good to see these good sculptors getting work. All right. Oh, interesting. I see. 20 shirts coming up. Yeah, so here you can see, oh, that's the one that I was forgetting. It was the Goku versus Vegeta pop. It was the one that's like, you know, when they're doing their iconic poses there. Yeah, as you can see, these are all around 20 bucks USD. Kind of interesting that they're only coming now, and these ones specifically, because these are so odd. Like, Gohan was an exclusive, I believe. I think the only way that you could get him was the t-shirt box, if I remember correctly. Majin Vegeta and Goku just came out, the Super Saiyan Goku that's not shown here. The Goku that is doing the iconic pose came out like I think a set or two ago when it comes to pops, and Vegeta is actually really old. So very interesting what they decided to go with, and very interesting that they decided to do some that have the effect pieces and some that don't. I don't know, kind of weird choices if you ask me. We'll get April order numbers in a few weeks. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. Fully expecting 18 to get the most, followed by Black. Wonder how the FES and Maxamatic will do. Reckon Trunks might beat the Maxamatic actually. Yeah, definitely will be interesting to see how this turns out. I kind of hope that the Trunks does, because even though I'm not the biggest fan of this design of Trunks and I'm not really too interested in this figure is stinky, bro. So hopefully Trunks does end up beating him out. And this was also super cool to see. So these are actually the other minifigures that are in that Saiyan Saga Kuji coming up. As you can see, a fantastic minifigure of Icarus licking Gohan's cheek. So adorable, bro, if I do say so myself. Looks great. And this hilarious Goku stomping Nappa into the ground. Such a weird angle. I very, very much wonder how this figure is going to balance. Like, if it's going to have any balance issues. It looks so goofy, though. And I don't really remember Goku being that small compared to Nappa. Like, I know Nappa's, like, huge, but that's, like, ridiculous in terms of the size comparison. Regardless, though, these two minifigures look great. I'm definitely going to have to pick up these guys in the future here. I would still like to get my hands on the GOKU on the farmer with a shotgun if I could from a couple Kujis ago. But yeah, very, very excited. There's definitely some great stuff with the Saiyan Saga Kuji. I will say this set is a very good omen because I feel like the Bandai finally understands that they need to be marketing some of this lesser like represented stuff in terms of figures for people to be interested in it who are longtime collectors. So good to see that. And we also have a final image, albeit a little bit scuffed, of the FES Gogeta. As you can see, this is at a little Bam Presto Expo here. Cool to see that they have a bunch of different figures on display. But Gogeta looks pretty good. Obviously, it's kind of hard to see, but on like from the initial viewing here, I don't really see anything wrong with the figure, which is great. Always good to see. I actually prefer the pose on the final one than the straight on the production image. Interesting. So I guess we have another better final picture here from Toys Zone D. Thank you for the post. Appreciate it. This is what the figure looks like. Obviously the white tones on the hair from the lighting in this case. But the figure looks great. I honestly, like, literally don't have any complaints with this. It looks absolutely fantastic if I do say so myself. And as you can see, also, the pose did actually change, or I guess the angle of the pose more so, where it's kind of like slanted on the original production image, but then it's turned a little bit more on the final. This is probably the best Gogeta that we've had in a long time, if I do say so myself. You can also see here, too, that the Obi belt has a nice curl to it where it kind of curls back. I am definitely getting this figure. I believe I already have this guy pre-ordered, so definitely look forward to a review of that because he looks great. Definitely recommend that guy if you are interested in it. All right, so moving on up, we do have the last one Kuji of the Saiyan Saga Kuji. And kind of interesting that this is what they decided to go with. So it is just a different version of Nappa. So if you're curious, basically, right, the original version of Nappa is the same pose, but with his mouth closed. And it looks like this final one is Nappa screaming, and he just has an alternate head with the hair. So the thing is, this is like good and bad from people on, you know, like, I guess my side of collecting things, because it's like, I definitely think that this would have been much cooler. I agree with Baggy. Like an Arlia colored Vegeta would have been really, really cool. Like if they were just going to do a retool or a recolor or a remold or something like that of an already existing Kuji from this figure, then this would have definitely been the way to go. And I think this would have been super sought after because this color scheme is just really, really, I don't know, like valued by collectors. I was trying to figure out the right word to use for it. But even though it is disappointing that we don't have that as a figure now, the nice thing is that at least collectors on our side of things, and even I guess Japanese collectors, probably don't feel pressured as much to try and go for the last one prize and end up paying more for it, you know, because obviously last one figures are already overpriced in the aftermarket, and then of course having to import them, they're even more overpriced. So I guess from that perspective, it is nice that we don't have to worry about importing this guy. Like, I would still love to get the, what do you call it? The omnibus. I'm trying to think of the proper name for it. The same thing that the vinyl, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Like the technical line or like the denotation that the grade 8 figures have. Like the Golden Ozaru had it, and then the Ozaru Vegeta also has it too. But anyway, regardless, still nice. Definitely not a bad figure, but at least we don't have to chase for it, I think is the bottom line. Alright, and then as you can see here is a comparison between the two. Nappa is not exactly an LO-worthy character, although I appreciate the attempt to make the LO a bit different instead of a straight repaint. But was hoping for Arlia Vegeta. Oh well, we can always get two and attempt a repaint. That is true. At least you can always do a custom. But yeah, so I mean, you know, definitely not really inclined to try and pick up this last one. Even though I do actually like it, and it would be really cool to get a, like, hair version of Nappa, because we already don't really have many Nappa figures as it is. I kind of can't believe we have one with hair as it is. But yeah, definitely no reason to try and chase this guy. I do think I like the face on the regular Nappa better. Obviously, it's kind of like, you know, as he's getting ready to fight and then as he's about to charge forward is kind of what I get the impression from this. Doesn't really look like any big change on the colors either, so if there is any, this kind of just looks like lighting as the difference here. Nonetheless, though, we chillin'. Alright, so UDM 46 finals. Why does Goku Black's hair look so dark? Or hand, rather, looks so dark. Expected quality, glad I stopped collecting. So as you can see here, these are the finals for this set. We've been taking a look at this set for a while. So disappointing, bro. It is very, very shameful, honestly, to see how this line has ended up over the years. This line was really, really cool and definitely a unique thing when it came to collecting Dragon Ball things. I'm actually kind of thankful in this regard that the newest UDM sets have not made their way over to the States, and we still have a lot of the like remix and like the best sets. And it's a lot of the good stuff, is what I will say. I think that they're a lot better than the modern ones that Japan is getting very consistently. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that original scan. Of course, I would have to go back and find it, but that scythe looks awful compared to what the original scan was. Let me see also, too. I'll see if I can't find that in another tab as we're looking for it here. But yeah, kind of disappointing. This was also a very good point on Baggy's part here. As you can see, looking at this year's LO prizes, not including Purunga, I prefer straight up recolors now. Yeah, so this is kind of funny, right? With the Dokkan Kuji, of course, we had the whole shenanigans where it is literally just this effect piece, which is kind of lame. This also sort of implies that the regular one doesn't come with a Dokkan Battle logo, but I don't think that's true. Obviously, for this one, it was just a simple recolor. And then, of course, for the new Nappa, we have this one. By the way, I was able to find the scan for the UDM. Look at the difference on that, bro. That is actually insane. The quality difference from this scythe, right here's a little bit of a back view, and then here to this. Look at, oh, that is just so disappointing to see. So his hair looks a lot more bright pink here, right? This is obviously trying to emulate that rose style, but it doesn't do a very good job. His hands also looks like he just stuck them in dirt, which is really weird. But this looks like it extends behind him, right? And he's actually holding it at a natural angle where it looks like this is just like rubbery plastic and it's gotten bent in the bag. And it definitely doesn't look like the angle they're going for. In fact, it looks like it just got straight bent right there. So very unfortunate to see. The only other pictures that we have here actually are these ones of all the boys. And I mean, just take a quick look for yourself. The quality doesn't look as good. Funny enough, I almost think that, well, probably not Goku, actually. I think that 13 is probably the best looking one, if I had to say. Gogeta looks a little bit goofy. Moving on up, though, FES Gogeta kind of reminds me of the UI FES final, although the pose was more drastic. Yeah, so this was kind of interesting, right? We have this change this time around, and then on the final version of this figure, he's kicking downward, as on the original one, he was sort of kicking upward. I would actually still love to like try and finagle the figure like that, because it is interesting to think that like some of these figures you could display them at a different angle and almost get a whole different figure. Obviously some of them probably look better from these various angles than others, but the FES line is a pretty solid one, all things considered, at least the older FES line, so it would probably be fine. But you'd probably have to make a custom stand if you wanted this. I think maybe Bandai realized that the figure would maybe be like too much weight on the stand looking at this. That would be my guess, if anything. Or maybe they would have to make a really long piece to be able to accommodate it. And then here was the scan. Okay. Alright, so moving on up. July Kuji. Now the figures have been revealed. The height should be confirmed soon. Then what the smaller prizes will be. Then the lot of ratios. Then overseas listings next week, which means multiple angle production images. Asian fans, if the online Kuji doesn't start this week, then that will bode well for a standard Ichiban show. Same lower prizes as this month. They don't really like the towels and rather see glasses and mugs. Okay, so we have metal coasters, art towel, prize board, and then obviously Nappa. Double chance campaign, Masterlize Vegeta. Oh, okay, so this, actually, I was just going to say, what does that mean? But this question was already asked here. Beautiful. I believe if you have drawn a ticket, you can participate in the DC campaign, which you can win whatever the designated prize figure is. A or LO limited to 50 winners. DC used to be different with a different color, which would have been extremely rare. Huh. Interesting. So I guess you just get to choose one or the other. All right, so we've already taken a look at these different Bardock figures. These are obviously very high quality images of them, but this is the promotional poster for Bardock. Definitely let me know what you guys think in the comments section below on this one. Excuse me, I am still a little bit torn up on how I feel about this guy. When I saw his original images, I thought that the face looked a little bit like the eyes were almost too big. But honestly, seeing it on the Manga Dimensions one, it kind of makes it look a little bit more normal, even though they're still a little bit bigger. But like looking at it here, they look like really big, like especially this one for some reason. I don't know. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments section below. Not looking good for Asian fans regarding the July Kuji. Unfortunately, the last standard release for Asia was Strong Chains. Interesting. Oh, this is, okay. Perhaps they're not allowed to use Planet Aria colors because for the Arise release, the Aria colors also weren't used for the alternate color version, which didn't make sense at the time either. Now no Aria version for the Kuji. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Oh yeah, so this is also very weird, right? So as Baggy mentions here, he also warns about pre-ordering this Goku. I literally already tweeted about it right here. Yes, I agree with Baggy 100% this time. But this was also something very interesting. So I don't know if you guys remember a many couple of figure news videos ago. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. We had this guy shown off at a figure fair or a prize fair or whatever it was. This Janemba. And he looks really good. Obviously, the beans being cut, having the different beans, the little like sword slashes in front of him. His face looks good. Obviously, the little cube thingies that Janemba does. Very weird because this guy was already shown off and they haven't put up any pre-orders or any more information about this guy. And they skip right to this. Very weird. It almost makes me wonder if they're either trying to fix Janemba because maybe they had Janemba ready to go and they saw what happened with Gogeta and they saw the backlash and they were hoping to maybe like remedy it, or maybe they just thought that Goku would sell better. I have no idea, but it is very weird to see that they did just skip it. As you can see here, Figuarts 0 has a history of cancel releases like the RF movie, so this could be a concern, especially why jump from movie 12 to movie 13 doesn't make sense. Because obviously these two figures were meant to pair together. Very unfortunate as well to still see that this version of this Gogeta figure is out there somewhere, but unfortunately it is not in the hands of us collectors because we got a stinky poo-poo. But anyhow, moving on up. So Sosa on his Facebook page put he worked at Banpresto from 2018 to June 2020. So this Frieza is probably his last work on the franchise then. Like I said, I think the sculpt is pretty good on this. Yeah, I agree. I actually like this Frieza. I think his face is a little bit funny, but it almost fits this, I think. It's also very interesting to see a first form Frieza figure without the armor on. I think that's pretty cool too. Moving on up. We have multiple production images for Goku here. As you can see, again, the sculpting on the dragon looks fantastic. These are a lot higher quality too, which is nice. But Goku's face still looks a little bit goofy, but I do like the hair sculpt a lot. I'm a big fan of Super Saiyan 3, so always seeing the Super Saiyan 3 hair sculpt done well also pleases me. This is also interesting. As you can see here, 21 centimeters, so it's the same size as this guy. For $100, it should be at least 30 is what Baggy is saying. But yeah, around $100 is what this guy is going for, and he's only that big. So don't be deceived by the images in terms of size. Obviously, if the figure ends up looking like this, and it looks this good, maybe even Goku's face looking a little bit better, then maybe I would say it's worth it. I don't know if I would say it's worth $100, but like, I paid $90 for the Figuarts 0 cooler, and I'm satisfied with what I paid for it because I think that figure is awesome. But I don't know. I'm just very skeptical. That's all I gotta say, bro. I'm just very skeptical about it at the end of the day. Yeah, this is also pretty crazy. As you can see here, while it seems like $80 for this, the FIGUARTS cooler. I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind here. I just streamed before filming this video, so my voice is running low. I apologize. Which isn't even that big for the GOKU. Yeah, nothing like overpriced goods. Yeah. Baggy and me had a little conversation under this tweet about it. By the way, I did already pre-order this guy, so definitely look forward to that review whenever that ends up coming out. Okay, so we have a better look at these mugs. This is pretty cool. So apparently, Zamasu actually only shows up when it's warm, which is actually pretty neat, if I do say so myself. A kind of weird, like, choice of renders and, like, placement on the cup, because this is all one piece, but it's pretty cool. I actually have a couple of Dragon Ball mugs already, so I don't really need this personally, but it's definitely not bad. Kind of weird that the sword, like, how is his hand pointed? Because you would think it would be, like, down, right? But does that mean his palm is, like, towards his face for Zamasu? Kind of weird. I think the Vegito render looks really good, though. Very interesting, if I do say so myself. Uh-oh, looks like this guy got delayed again. I doubt it should affect most people because nobody should be spending 4 digits on a Dragon Ball product. Yeah. Oh, this is kind of crazy considering, like this comment says right here, this thing was announced a year or two ago. So pretty insane that this guy has gotten delayed so much. And Prime Studio is a pretty good studio for figures from what I've seen. And Mega House is obviously pretty welcomed in terms of the Dragon Ball figure community. So very unfortunate to see there. Next, Chibi Masters Naruto. I'm only mentioning this because the last one was Dragon Ball, and the Chibi Masters series was pretty cool. So this does kind of imply that they won't be doing Dragon Ball for a while now, and they'll be doing different series. So we'll have to see what they come up with next for that series, and hopefully they do go back to Dragon Ball at some point. Moving on up, if the DA would release overseas in the West, that would be great. It means no more worrying about importing, what the ratios would be, etc. Otherwise, it's 10 per lot and 4 of them, so an even ratio. Again, presumably 2 of them will be 2 per lot, and 2 of them will be 3 per lot. So are we getting a standard Ichiban show release? Not 100% confirmed yet, but should be since the last 3 Kujis have for the US and Europe. Ichiban show listings usually drop from the middle of the month, so we'll find out next week for sure. Good stuff. Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. So it looks like, even though this guy's a little bit stinky, the Banpresto Super Master Stars Piece World Figure Coliseum Super Saiyan 4 Goku Manga Dimensions one, aka the 2 Dimensions version, is actually windowed, which is pretty cool to see. Obviously, it is always great to see them doing this with figures. This is the Super Saiyan Goku here. It kind of looks like, oh, okay, so I see. So I'm sorry, I misunderstood this. This figure does not have a windowed box, but the re-release of the Super Saiyan 2 Super Saiyan Goku, the Manga Dimensions version, does have a windowed box, like the original. Okay, that is really cool. Definitely, you'll love to see it. For anyone that is new and confused by when I use BSS, actually this is great because I wanted to talk about this at some point in a video. It stands for Banpresto Special Selection. Overseas releases that are released as a prize in Asia, and a standard release in US and Europe. The packaging for the West doesn't have the BSS branding, but I still use it for convenience. So yeah. As you can see here, this is the packaging that we get in the States, and this is the Japanese packaging. Basically, re-releases, essentially. Should also note that a BSS releases in Asia might not necessarily release in the West, like the Shintani KV release, perhaps vice versa also applies too. Definitely have to get this guy at some point too, because he's a great figure. Overseas releases have gotten extremely complicated lately. Yeah, this is a great figure. I don't remember why. I honestly think that I didn't pick this guy up originally because I thought that he didn't look that good, but obviously after I saw him in person, which here's a good picture of him, I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. He looks really good. Definitely got to get him at some point. Anyhow, moving on up, this was something very interesting to see. Cardboard cutouts of Ichiban figures exist. He wonders if there's a Dokkan Goku one. So, if you're curious, basically sometimes in front of arcades and stuff, they have these cardboard cutouts of some of the prize figures that you can win. And until this point, I guess we had actually never seen any of these. actually out in the wild. So it is cool to see that for sure. All right, so Baggy is tweeting out some information about this Saiyan Saga Kuji here. July Kuji ratio, a slight correction thanks to this man for pointing it out. I'll have to follow him for sure. And then talking about it on Amazon GP. Original source had only partial information, so guess the rest. The only difference is one less Gohan and one more Cybermen, unfortunately. DA, by the way, that is, oh my gosh, I forget what that technically means, but it's the minifigures is what DA. Oh, Dragon Archives, thank you. Which sucks if we don't get it overseas, yeah, for sure. So these are just the ratios for all the different prizes. We've taken a look at the lettering for these a bunch of times now, so yeah. And what they compare to, I mean. First DA was 14 per lot, second DA was 12 per lot, third DA was 11 per lot, and now the fourth MBES is 10. Keeps getting reduced. If there's no overseas release, it's going to be a pain to get these for a good price, yeah, for sure. Japanese t-shirts, still no Hercule spelling. Also, still amusing me that Japanese t-shirts always seem to have English text and Western shirts always have Japanese text. Yeah, that is kind of weird. But that is like a theme. But these are all shirts from Japan, apparently. They look really cool. Superhero champion of the world. That's pretty cool. Time to relax. Case in point, this Japan... This is a Gohan hoodie. That's actually pretty cool. I kind of like that. Super Saiyan 1. Don't think I've seen that on much merchandising, but that's pretty cool. That's so funny. Unleashed. It's just like Krillin's classic tacos shirt from the Dragon Ball Super episode. Western listing for the Kuji should drop next week or the week after, unless there is a price increase. The Vegeta, Nappa, and Goku will set you 108 for all three versus 100 for just the Goku, which is only 21 centimeters. Yeah, that is kind of crazy to think about. Unless Super Saiyan 3 is absolutely your favorite #1 form, wouldn't recommend dropping 100, especially after this disaster. Yeah, so if you're confused, this is what ended up happening with this figure. This is the original production images for this beautiful Gogeta. I remember, too, this like specific image of this Gogeta. I had this as the thumbnail for one of the figure news videos, and that video did incredible because obviously the figure looks amazing, and the final one... If you're curious, you can pause and see a little bit more details about it there, but I've talked about it in detail on the channel before. I do have this figure in my room, by the way. I'm still figuring out what I want to do with it, if I want to try and sell it or if I want to just make a video out of it. But like the thing is, if I make a video out of it, I will make a really good video out of it because I'll absolutely decimate this thing, like not like actually break it, but you know, clown on it really hard. I don't even think it'll be worth it because of how much I paid for it in terms of like what I earn back. I mean, maybe I'll get a little bit of my sanity back because I'll be able to clown on this guy so hard, but I don't know if it's even worth opening the box, man. Let me know what you think in the comments, if anything. I know I've been badgering this release, but the face still is kind of goofy. Yeah, that's from a downward angle, as you can see there. Alright, remember someone mentioned that Saiyans don't look as good in the FIGUARTS Zero line. This really shows a dragon is far superior modeling-wise. Yeah, as you can see here, some different angles of the dragon. This dragon looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like we have a little bit of a news blurb from the homie Omacha Headshaw here. Crazy, crazy detail on this dragon. As you can see, the scales look fantastic. I love the detailing of the skin on the dragon. It looks really, really good. It looks like what you typically see for like dragon. I don't even know. I guess just skin would be the way to describe it. The painting on it looks fantastic. Like I said, the scales, the spikes on the actual dragon look great. The detailing on the tail looks fantastic. Definitely no denying. Oh, hi, Rose. Definitely no denying that this figure looks great in terms of the sculpt of the dragon. And even looking in the mouth, you can see that there is some sculpted in mouth detail on the top of the mouth. The tongue also sculpted in there, which obviously the top of the mouth you would like never see unless you're actually looking in there. So it's cool that they would even bother sculpting that in. And here's the original art for the Dragon Fist. It'll be interesting to see what this guy ends up looking like when he comes out. I'm really tempted to pre-order this guy because I love the FIGUARTS Zero line, but after Gogeta, I just can't bring myself to do it. And I love Super Saiyan 3. It is definitely my favorite form. I don't know, man. Very disappointing. Unfortunately, the Super Student line will probably still isn't over. No! We know base Trunks was planned and still hasn't been released, which means Chapter 7 will probably be a third Vegeta reuse. Will rear its ugly self and when we least expect it. Interesting. Why Bardock built like that? That's a good comment right there. Yeah, so I will say, I mean, if anything about this final release, Rosé does look pretty good. There are definitely like better Rosé figures that you can get out there, but it's definitely not a bad one. And even though this Goku mold has been reused so many times, this like version of it is probably the best version of it. And I would like, here's the thing, bro. I actually like, I don't think the pose is bad. It's just kind of goofy. And I think that the face sculpt on him looks good. And I would, like, honestly consider buying this figure, especially if I could get it for cheap. But I refuse to support the Retsuden line. The only way I would get this guy would be if I bought it off of eBay, off of somebody who already bought it, like, secondhand. So I'm not supporting Bandai directly. Because there's no way that I would support this garbage. Even I have standards. And I've bought some pretty stinky figures in the past, if I do say so myself. For anyone that thinks all this figure reusing lately is due to everything going on, it is not. Cut and paste nonsense has been happening since 2017. So obviously here, Baggy is talking about the hair sculpt. I actually don't recognize this Super Saiyan Blue figure. I might actually have to ask him about that. Huh, I don't recognize either of those figures. Huh, that's a first for me. And as you can see here, the hair sculpt for this Goku has also been reused. Why does he look so weird there? I mean, WCF is kind of, like, expected. I mean, also the minifigure, but, like, he looks so cheeky. I don't know, kind of weird. I'm going to like that tweet so I can DM him about it later. And we're halfway through the month. Western listings for Kuji should be imminent. Moving on up here, past some other things. All right, so oh no. So we take the moon now. We took a look at the Legends Vegeta last week, but as you can see here, the Legends Collab Vegeta looks like it is scanned digitally, a modified version of the FES Vegito, and the LC Vegito is much worse, it seems. Avoid. That is kind of disgusting. You can see that the hair sculpt is actually the exact same. And it is, again, I know I say this every video, but it's such a shame to see what's happened to the FES line, because the FES line used to be like peak Dragon Ball, if I do say so myself. Yeah, here is Vegito. I mean, he doesn't look the worst, but he looks pretty bad, if I do say so myself. This figure looked a lot better on the original box. But yeah, that's what Omacha Headchilla is basically talking about here in this image that is digitally scanned. This isn't the first time this had happened with the collab line. The Gogeta collab hair was a flip. Wait, whoa, hold on. What? The Gogeta collab hair was a flip from the Gogeta blue hair asset, which time was used on the LC Gogeta. It didn't have Widow's Peak, and the pants were a scan of the old high grade. So this was the, yeah, this was the movie Kuji one, I believe. And then, wow. A digital scan. Yeah, also, here's that comparison if you were curious of these three figures. I think that the base form one definitely looks the best. Wow, that is pretty crazy if I do say so myself. Thank you for Baggy for definitely pointing that out for sure. My biggest issue with reusing figures are still being charged full price overseas. All these Gokus are the same price. Heck, in the US, the upcoming King Cluster Brawler costs you $45, whereas the Ultimate Variation costs only $36. Almost $10 more for the same figure. Yeah, that I like. I do agree with Baggy that it's just lazy for them to reuse this. But if they charged less, then I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. Or if they advertised it was literally the same thing, but charging the same amount and charging even more in some cases is just unacceptable in my opinion. Anyway, moving on up. We have some final pictures of the Battle of Saiyans WCF figures. We did see a couple of these last time, but I do honestly think that probably Hit and Kaba definitely fared the best. Vegeta's face looks a little bit, goofy. And Beerus's muzzle looks kind of weird in like the shape of his eyes, as well as God Goku. But I will say, I am kind of glad that if any of these figures were going to be good, it was Hit and Kaba, because they don't have enough commercialization. So it is nice to see that they at least got some good stuff. And we actually have some final versions of the Chojin Giga Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Inking on the pants is really good here. Guess because Gogeta's 4 pants in white. I wish the Chojin Giga line continues, but I have no interest in Super Saiyan 4 figures. So yeah, I will say, I do really want to take a look at this Gogeta now that I've seen these finals, because originally I didn't think that he looked that good, but not only seeing the final face sculpt on his figure, I think it actually looks better than some of the original production images, and I honestly really like the way that they did the shading on the pants. I think it's really unique, and I think his face looks pretty good. I was originally going to get the Chojin Giga Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, but that guy, I don't know. He kind of like, after I saw the finals of him, I didn't really like the way that he ended up looking. But this guy looks pretty good. And obviously this guy does share the same pose as the Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So you could definitely do some kind of Dokkan display with him. But yeah, I mean, I like it. You know, I originally didn't think I was going to upon the original production images, but not only does the face sculpt look better, like I said, I really like the shading on the pants. It looks really cool, and it actually looks a lot closer to the box, and it looks a lot cleaner than what happened on the last two Chojin Giga releases. I do agree with Baggy. I definitely think that we don't need any more Super Saiyan 4 figures, because I think we have plenty, and the ones that we have are already really good. Like the Greatest Saiyan Kuji, like really good Super Saiyan 4 figures. But I do hope that the line continues, if anything. This is the second collab. Vegeta like this too. The Dokkan one was an asset rebuild from the Ritsuden one. Like I have been saying, this has been happening for years, unfortunately. Oh, okay. So the hair is just... The hair is actually the same, with the bangs just flipped from the Ritsuden one, and the bottom half is the same. Huh. Imagination Works shows that those aren't safe either. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. I was wondering because listings for Ichiban show just dropped to nothing else, but was leftover from June. Good. Alright, keep on moving on. Chojin Giga Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta out now for Japan. Out now for Asia, rather, despite releasing this Friday in Japan. Interesting. Dokkan Vegeta, which released last month in Japan, still hasn't released in Asia. By the way, this is like not Japan. The rest of Asia is what Baggy's referring to. Yeah, no idea. Guess maybe due to Vegeta having more orders, therefore it needs more production time to be fulfilled. Yeah, no idea on that one, honestly. But the box does look cool. All right, moving on up. Heights for the Kujis. Vegeta is 20 centimeters. Nappa is 25.5. Goku is 14.5. Wait, he's shorter than Vegeta? I mean, I guess that makes sense considering he's like squatting. Gohan is 11.5 and Cybermen is 9. Very good to know. All right. So July Maximadic is 19 centimeters while the July one is 20 centimeters. It's very surprising. I was expecting around 17 to 18 for the Kuji. Interesting. This guy's actually going to be shorter than this guy. That'll be very interesting to see. I actually do like this figure a lot, though. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at that guy. This means Nappa will most likely have a big box, which means if there isn't a domestic release in someone's country, that means extra shipping costs, since I know, for example, Amazon US international shipping varies on the box and weight sizes. All right. OG. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. What? OG, DB, and DBZ historical characters WCF blind box available. I'm blowing out of here for $5. Grandies to go on an FES Goku for about 15 in stock too. I have actually wanted to pick these up for a while because at some point I really want to make a display of like all of the manga behind these. Your boy might have to pick that up. Let me like that for later. I actually did get a figure from Blow It Out of Here before, so I know this person asked if they're trustworthy. I've not actually reviewed it yet, funny enough, but They're definitely a trustworthy source. Amazon US has Grand De Niro for $32. Reminder, Hollow Legs, I still do not recommend it at this price point. However, I've seen fans pay $42. So don't want fans paying unnecessarily $10 more. Yeah, I do want to get this figure at some point, but like maybe like for $15 or something. I don't know. Definitely not that big. All right, so looks like we finally have a sample of the Wafer Sticker 3.0. If you guys remember from the last couple of videos, we had a little bit of an update on the whole Wafer Sticker thing because obviously I guess we'll call it like Season 2. I'm not exactly sure how to explain the denotation of like the different like series of the wafer stickers. Baggy has the specific name, I know he does, but this looks like what they're going to look like from now on, which is really cool. I gotta say, it looks really good. And of course, if you are familiar with Dokkan's new Patan battle mode, these stickers should look a little bit familiar to you. Moving on up here, this is also very interesting for a couple of reasons here. For one, as you can see, May Wafer Sticker Reboot packaging and sample picks thanks to DBS Hype. We're getting ZDBS and OG stuff, which is awesome to see because towards the end, and I think actually all throughout, now that I think about it, the Wafer 2.0, we did get some stuff from OG Dragon Ball and everything in between here. So very cool to see love for all of the various different Dragon Ball series. And interestingly enough, this actually notes down here, which I think is a Baggy tweet that is coming up in like 2 seconds. Here, reminder that there is a price increase for this. The wafer changed from vanilla to chocolate. There's an increase in the lineup, is there increase of the lineup, but it is still only 20 per box, which is kind of unfortunate. But the actual like wafers inside change from vanilla ones to chocolate ones. So yeah, just figured I would mention that. Moving on here, looks like Ader might finally be coming to UDM. Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah, because this is talking about all the different Android ones. Hopefully he doesn't turn out awful, and I will actually buy him because I would love an Ader thing. So yeah, as you can see here, here's a quick comparison between Wafer Sticker 2.0 and 3.0. I did actually ask Baggy his thoughts because I was very curious to see what he thinks about these because I know he's a big fan of these. Pretty good, not as drastic change. I feared, especially with no samples for so long. But yeah, definitely not too bad. I really like it actually. Are these all going to be all gold like that, or is it just a special one? Just special, a regular coloring for the rest, rather. Sorry. This person notes that they don't actually look different at all. And then Baggy says, yeah, the change was far more drastic between 1.0 and 2.0. Glad 3.0 isn't that much different since 2.0 was pretty much perfect. Yeah. So this is obviously a comparison between the 1.0 stickers and the 2.0 stickers. I think the difference is pretty obvious here. I think you can pick that one up. Oh, last month for the Ichiban show listings dropped last week of February, so we have to wait until the next week for July's to drop. As long as nothing else from July has been listed, no need to panic. I'll mention when we need to start worrying. Oh boy! Let's hope not. Alright, so good news for overseas fans. FES 12 Goku, the kid version, is high like the FES 9 Goku. So one can recreate this scene with the overseas exclusive Bulma coloring to match the original illustration. Also, Kid Goku is a full case overseas too. Where is this figure? I don't think I've ever actually seen that before. I'm gonna have to see if I can pick that up. I don't really know if I have too much interest in the yellow Goku. I do like this figure. Obviously, this is from the outro. That would be cool though to make a display of this with the art in the background, and then maybe somehow get a model of Bulma's motorcycle. Yeah, because it was so weird that, like, this was the original production image of this Kid Goku too, but he is actually going to be this high up, like the original color of this guy. Interesting. I don't think I've actually ever seen this figure before this specific image, so I'll definitely have to look into that. I like this tweet already, apparently, so... Japanese fans got the short end of the stick here with only 10 per case, and with the low orders could be difficult to get Kid Goku, although maybe because the Bulma special color version was only released overseas, maybe that's why there's so little of this Goku for Japan. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting. Alright, so moving on up here, perhaps this is a more clear example from the... Oh, so wait, this was back in March. Okay, so he was talking about, like, remakes here, right? Perhaps this is a more clear example from the Strong Chain Goku, which itself was a reuse from the 2017 Dragon Ball Memories. Huh. Very interesting. Yeah, so this was an old Ichiban Kuji figure. I think this was like the first Goku Black figure that we ever got. And I think the first, or no, I'm sorry. The first UI Omen Goku, I believe, was in that Ichiban Kuji set. Because I remember everybody going nuts about that. And basically, he's just saying that these are all like a compilation of different parts to end up getting to that figure. Looks like the dragon is photobombing hit. That's funny. I still think this guy looks pretty good. I am actually very, very excited to get my hands on that guy eventually. But as you can see here, just a couple pictures of the SH FIGUARTS hit. Obviously, this is at whatever fair was happening in Japan at the time. There are also some pictures. It looks like we have some other pictures here of the remake of the special edition Rose. He does look pretty good. I do like the pink hue for him. I still think this face looks a little bit goofy, but obviously comes with some different faces, so no need to worry if you're not a big fan of this one. But I really, really like the coloring, and I love the pearlescent. Is that the right word to use for that hair color? Looks good. And then obviously we have the homie cooler. Of course, we've seen a bunch of other poses for this guy from the other promotional material for this guy, but he looks fantastic. I'm very, very excited to get my hands on him at some point in the future. Looks really good. Moving on up here. Let's see. Oh, okay, so this is for some S. Oh, what? Uh-oh. Okay, wait. So these last few ones showing me how much Japanese fans dislike the vanilla wafers. I like vanilla. What the heck? This is probably my favorite nano block yet. Huh. So this is a nano block thing. Interesting. I like the Kamehameha effect. That's cool. Ooh. Okay, so that is pretty cool. Yeah, this was a very rare figure. Seriously, the sticker looks good with Gold Goku. Are there 28 types of stickers? Yeah, so basically, my man is saying that this Gold Goku of this art, right, because this is the classic art from the cover of Shonen Jump, might be a reference to this Gold Goku sticker. I actually have the regular version of the statue. Would I be able to find that? That is such a cool version of that figure. I don't think I've ever seen that gold one before, actually. Maybe a long time ago. LC Legends Collab Jito. I like that, bro. As well as Giga Gita. Can we not with these names, bro? This is like when in Dokkan we call them like Koku and Godku and Snowku and all this stuff, bro. Out now for Asia. Still no Dokkan Vegeta. Definitely thinks, obviously this is a little bit of a goof, due to the other orders in Japan being bigger than these two, and overseas the demand probably similar, so probably taking longer to fulfill the orders. This can be backed up by Cupasake Boma. Cupoma! Baggy, please, bro, don't do this to me. They had a lot of orders in Japan, still hasn't released in Asia yet. Of the stylization of the super. This is really cool, actually. Yeah, I definitely like the way that that looks. All right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So this is just some My Hero Academia figures. It looks really good. Managed to sell all my older Gogeta figures. Nice. Yeah, so he's basically just talking about how he's going to pick up this guy. And as you can see here are the current images that we have of this guy right now. I don't know why it's so low quality, but I mean, I guess that also partially makes sense because I don't know if you're supposed to take pictures here because sometimes at these type of events you're not supposed to, but oh, actually, wait, this is recent tweet. I didn't even realize that. Well, I'm glad we're seeing this now. Keeping up with the recent reuse talk, the History of Rivals Goku last year, which is a direct re-release of the 2018 Kuji. It looks to be a scan of the old MSP Goku with added kanji. The fact that some people are still defending this practice is shocking to me. Yeah, I 100% agree with Baggy here. Kind of ridiculous. The HOR was recycled versus Omnibus Goku, from which his hair is recycled from the Rasuden Super Saiyan 3 Goku. What? Okay, so it's the same pose, but obviously a different arm. And then the hair is the same, I guess is what he's saying. That is crazy. Huh. Western version of the BSS FES Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Kaioken Goku and the original Dokkan collab Goku reuse re-releases 2D Supermaster Piece re-release are ready, so should be shipping out soon. Cool. This figure I don't have, but I would consider getting. This guy, funny enough, I would actually like to get because I do have this guy, but I have the all-black version. I don't know how that happened, but this guy is based off of, obviously, the OG LR Goku. And, of course, this classic being re-released soon. I'm very excited to get my hands on that one. This is more of our thread of some of these cards and the figures that are, well, I mean, based on each other, I guess, vice versa, whichever one would come out first. So here's that worry tweet, by the way. July OP-Kuji has been listed for the US. No Dragon Ball yet. Worry time now. Okay, so this is also something new that I saw that actually looks pretty cool. 1,300 yen for these logos. That doesn't seem like a ripoff. Actually, was expecting something like 5,000 given how overpriced these other products are. But yeah, these are these nice little like 3D acrylic stands for the different Dragon Ball logos here. As you can see, Dragon Ball Z Kai and the Dragon Ball logo. Very, very cool. Kind of weird. Yeah, this is definitely a good question. I can't believe that Kai is still getting some kind of merch. But as you can see, this guy 3D printed these for that much yen. I might have to hit that man up and ask him, yo, can I cop that? Because that's pretty sick. All right. Still 1 week left in March, so it's not panic stations regarding July Kuji. Surely we'll release in the West. It has got to sell like hotcakes, especially Vegeta. If nothing this time next week, then yeah, in full war mode. Need to see that blue logo in the production image. All right, so this is actually very exciting because we'll actually get to see these figures in like 2 seconds. We usually don't get to see the figures when we have these images here. Breaking, BOS is Kaioken Goku, Solid Edgeworks is Trunks, and the new Zenkai line is Super Saiyan Goku. So we'll actually get to see these guys as we scroll up here a little bit. Figures will be revealed Monday. I figured I'd just show this since it's right here. This is actually a really good looking Shiggy figure. More Super Saiyan Gokus is just what we needed this year, huh? There's so much Dragon Ball that can be commercialized, and we keep getting the same thing over and over. Yeah, it is kind of weird that I will say that we keep getting it, but I mean, I guess they think that it does well. Kind of weird. All right, so here are some final images of the FES Super Saiyan Goku. This is the anime color version, and that Kid Goku figure. It looks fantastic. I know a lot of people were really hoping for this guy to look good, and I think he looks really good. It's kind of funny that he looks so odd at this angle. What is that really the angle that he's at? I'll have to see him like from a front on angle, but very interesting. Maybe it's just that guy's copy is drooping, and Goku looks good. I kind of expected this figure to look good, so Goku's final. Yeah, so this is also cool to see that they actually did end up fixing that, because as you can see here, right, there is no arm gap, and they fixed that because this was the original production image. Very awesome to see that they actually had some attention to detail on that one. I just realized since the Japanese release is July 31st, this may count as August, so in that case means listings will be next month. That would hopefully be the case. Let's go. We'll see a clear image of this Fidel in 2 seconds. All right, and here we are. So, as you can see, this is the current lineup of the August prize figures. We will also see more HD images of these guys in a second, so I guess we'll just talk about them there. But, let's see. Ooh, yeah, this one is also kind of ridiculous, I will say. If you're not going to do anything interesting with Super Saiyan Goku, then stop. Yeah, they literally basically just remade this figure. This figure, the original one here, this is the one that Baggy's talking about on the left. Can you see that when I do that with the mouse? I guess you can, kind of. It's actually a really big figure. I think he's like around a foot tall. And they're literally just remaking the pose small. Yeah. No comment. But as you can see, the good thing about the figure is that this looks to actually be Nakazawa's work. So, even though it is a remake of an older figure, at least it looks good. That's good. It is kind of a shame that Nakazawa's work is being wasted on a remake, I guess, because it's not technically a remake because it's just a pose, but it's literally the same figure, just smaller. All right, so we have some high quality images of these. This is what actually I was waiting to show you here. So I am actually extremely surprised that Solid Edgeworks Volume 2 is Long Hair Trunks from the Cell Saga, a Super Saiyan version and a base form version. This is definitely something that I did not expect, especially considering the original Solid Edgeworks figure, the Volume 1 one, was just a base form Goku. Definitely did not expect a Trunks to join the roster here. I really like the way that it looks. I do kind of agree with this comment, though. Something about his face does look a little bit off. But I think it still looks really good overall. I am hoping that the finals will look a little bit better with this guy. And, as well, as you can see here, we do have two different colored versions of this Orange Star High School Videl. Obviously, this is the one that I'm going to be getting because I believe that's the one that's more accurate to the anime. But it is long-haired Videl, and it is glitter and glamorous Videl. Finally, like Baggy said, a not only just female Dragon Ball figure, but a Videl figure that doesn't have ridiculous proportions and isn't overly, you know, the word. I don't want to get hit with Susan's wrath. Thank you, Bandai. Finally, this is what I wanted. I am buying this. And cool that it's long hair Videl as well. Very nice stuff there. And here we have the re-releases for August. High quality overseas exclusive picks, 2D Grande CY Goku and the Master Sharks Piece Gohan. Again this time, but normal. Oh, okay, so I guess actually I take that back. DBZ Figures wasn't wrong. I guess they are just re-releasing this guy, except with no damage. I don't know why you would buy this guy if you got the damaged version, obviously, but why would they re-release this right after releasing the one with damage? Because I assume that would be the one that people would want. And I mean, like, not having the battle damage on his skin, but having it on the clothes just looks like kind of not correct. I don't know. Very weird. But I mean, it's definitely not a bad figure. Of course, if you can't get your hands on the battle damage version and this is the next best thing, then hey, definitely go for it. I will say, if you do want to custom paint your own battle damage, if you think you can get it looking better than Bandai's version, then this is definitely the version for you, for sure. This guy does look really good, though. I honestly did not expect to get a 2 dimensions version of this figure ever. I will probably pick this up if I can find it for a good price only, because I really like this figure, and I am a sucker for the Manga Dimensions color scheme. It's so good. And here we go with Tom and Jerry. Let's go! Nah, but for real, as you can see here, we have the brand new BOS Kaioken Goku. We will see some more angles of this guy in a second, but I think he looks really good personally. I understand Baggy's feeling here. It is kind of weird, I will say, from the perspective of, like, Baggy just popped off, and I guess I just kind of unintentionally popped off about how we've gotten so many Gokus and so many Super Saiyan Gokus and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny because these figures are actually really good. Despite, you know, everything that we just talked about. I really like, by the way, that the BOS line is changing it up a little bit in terms of what they make shiny, because usually their gimmick is that they make the hair shiny, but this time around they actually made the pants the shiny aspect of this figure, which I think is really cool, and I think it fits the look of Kaioken very well, if I do say so myself. The hair sculpt also looks good. The small eyes are very interesting to me. I don't know why they're so small, but I guess it kind of makes sense for what we're going for here. We'll see more angles of him in a second, but this is the Zenkai Solid Volume 1 Goku is what this line is going to be called, so it'll be interesting to see what else this line has. I hope also, too, that that's not a disconnect to the arm, and then that is purposeful detailing, but it is... No, that definitely looks like part of the arm. It is a little bit hard to tell, though. But, I mean, Nakazawa's work definitely isn't squandered here in terms of, like, you know, his work, because this Goku looks really good. Let's go ahead and take a look at this guy from multiple angles. As you can see here as well, BOS Goku is 16 centimeters and the Trunks is 23 centimeters. Here are the multiple angles for these guys. This is what I was kind of looking for here. Excuse me. Obviously, this Trunks looks good. He kind of looks like he's doing a little bit of an MJ stance there, which is a little bit weird, but not too bad. Videl looks great. Definitely a fantastic figure, if I do say so myself. Again, thank you for not making it ridiculous proportions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh yeah, also this guy, I noticed it here too. That's kind of funny. Here is probably the figure that I'm most excited for, though, out of all of these guys. This Goku looks really, really cool. I am honestly like a big fan of the BOS line. I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea with like the shiny aspects on the hair, but I think making the pants shiny is a really cool way to switch up the line, and I hope that they continue to do that. Like, could you imagine oh my gosh, I'm getting excited just thinking about this. A Saiyan Saga Gallic Gun Vegeta, where the whole Vegeta figure is like coated in metallic purple, because obviously he's like, you know, encased in the Gallic Gun energy. Oh, it'd be so cool. But nonetheless, this Goku looks fantastic. I really, really like the hair sculpt on it, and I really, really like the coloring on the hair as well. It looks really, really good. The only thing that I think is a little bit awkward about this guy is, funny enough, his like feet position look a little bit weird. Like, I guess he's just jumping forward, but his back foot specifically looks a little bit off. It almost makes me wonder, funny enough, if this guy's bottom half is reused from another figure. It almost kind of looks like the Retsuden Gohan, like general shape of the legs almost. Obviously, it's a little bit of a different sculpting because, of course, the pants are different, and this knee was not there on the Retsuden one. It was like pointed, and of course the obi and the ripped shirt. But I think this figure is definitely the one to look forward to, if anything. I feel like it looks really, really good. And here's some different angles for this guy. It's kind of what you expect, all things considered, for, you know, this pose, because we've seen it a couple of times before. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely think that the BOS Goku is what I'm the most excited for. Oh, apparently these are two different versions of this figure? Huh, interesting. And here are some super high quality images of this figure. I will say her eyes do look a little bit weird. Like, from a straight on angle, I think her face looks a little bit like her eyes are maybe too big. I don't really know how to describe it. There we go. But I think, like, from this angle, it looks really good. Like, I honestly kind of might display it like that, because I think that almost looks better, if anything. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the eyes are like too big or something like that. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments. But overall, I think it looks really, really good. I am definitely going to be buying this, though, because I would definitely rather support something like this than, you know, ridiculous proportions. All right, and we have some close-ups. Oh, huh, I didn't even notice that. Low key, maybe, but a little bit different in terms of the pose. But yeah, here's Goku close up. He looks really, really good. I love the detailing on the pants. It's very impressive to me, honestly, that they were still able to get this amount of detail on the pants when they have this super shiny paint on there. I really, really wonder how they were able to do that. But, oh, I see. It's Takanada, or Tak and Aka. There we go. I wanted to make sure I didn't butcher my man's name. Nonetheless, though, looks really, really good, and I am very excited to get this guy. I definitely am going to be keeping an eye out for what the BOS line has next. All right, so last but not least, the HD production images of this guy. So Baggy thinks that it doesn't work in 2D. Let's see, what are the replies here? This hair sells it all for me. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I think that the hair is definitely the best looking part about this figure. I do agree with somebody here, actually. I don't know. I think it was a comment on that one. It would be really cool if they did an Extreme Saiyan version of, or a 2D versions of the Extreme Saiyan figures. Those would look fantastic. But I don't know. I really like the hair personally. I really like it. It might also just be because I'm a sucker for Master Shar's piece, which really stinks because the colors are always like, or the colors, I'm sorry. The price of it is always kind of ridiculous considering the price. But if I can get this guy for cheap, I'll definitely pick him up. Yeah, I think it looks really good personally. Let me know what you think in the comments, of course. And I think we are almost done here. Yes, Takanaka continues to improve the head sculpt on the Bios Kaken. Goku is sculpted basically perfectly. Yes, I already liked that tweet. All right. So this was also another tweet I wanted to make sure I highlighted for you guys. So the Solid Edgeworks line seems like a spiritual successor to the old Resolution of Soldiers line before it went to Grandista with an extra Super Saiyan / base option. While poses are boring, at least we have tied back hair, long trunks. Gohan and Vegeta will probably inevitably be Movie 9 and Boo Arc respectively. So yeah, before the Grandista line was a thing, we had the Resolution of Soldiers line, and then it became Resolution of Soldiers Grandista, and then it eventually just became Grandista. But it does kind of seem like that these are spiritual successors to that line. This obviously is the Resolution of Soldiers Trunks and the Resolution of Soldiers Goku, whereas this is the Solid Edgeworks Goku and the Solid Edgeworks Trunks. I will say is I really love, first of all, the original Resolution of Soldiers line. I would love to be able to collect that whole line, in the future, because it is a really solid line with a bunch of characters from that era of Dragon Ball. I believe it mostly focused on the Cell Saga. I might be misremembering that because it's a little bit old, and it was also kind of coming out when I started collecting Dragon Ball figures, so I wasn't around as much, but yeah, it is kind of weird, I will say, though. This comment points out a good point. Shame that they didn't keep it consistent with the walking forward thing, because that was kind of cool. And also not keeping the same sculptor, because these sculpts are definitely different. And Trunks definitely does look a little bit odd, whereas I think Goku definitely looks a little bit more closer to his anime counterparts. But I feel like the detailing on that Goku is a lot better than this Trunks. Like, the Trunks just has a lot of, like, I don't know, not as much shading, like on the armor maybe, but like the Goku feels like it has a lot more like intricate detail to it. Very weird. It almost looks like that this pulled back hair Trunks and the Goku like aren't even from the same line. I don't know. Just me personally though. So the Zenkai Goku is 19 centimeters in height, but has a standard box size, not bigger like Maxamatic, therefore full case of 36, not 32. This is useful information from Japanese fans, since case sizes don't matter overseas. Alright, and then we have the different up-close images for these guys. I don't know, man. His face just looks a little bit off to me. I mean, I really, really like the look of these hair sculpts for sure. Obviously, we have been looking for a Trunks figure with these various different hairstyles for a fat minute now. But I don't know. I really do hope that they improve that face. I will have to see if I end up pre-ordering this guy, because as much as I love the hair sculpt, I just can't justify it looking like that. Alright, so still don't know why this was branded under DBS. Thought we were done with this mismatched rebranding. Remember, September Burning Fighters could literally be anything then, yeah. I don't know why they're also starting so many new lines. It is very confusing to me. Instead of like, what do you call it? Just continuing old ones. I don't know. Very interesting to me. August 2 to UD Grandista packaging will be 37 by 19 by 16, all but confirming windowed box packaging since the regular Grandista box is 26 by 15 by 14. Huh. That will be interesting. Sorry, I'm Big Bad Toy Store, but he's full 70. Wouldn't recommend it for that price. Yeah, definitely not. 100%. Yeah, I agree with Baggy. I wouldn't pay more than 30. 100%. I'm definitely not going to pay 70 bucks for this guy. If I can get him cheap, or I guess if I could get him for free somehow or something like that, then maybe. But 100%, definitely I'm not going to pick him up for 70 bucks. Yeah, for 2D coloring, don't fall for this. You're paying 3 times as much. Unlike Nero, no small changes to the modeling. Definitely a ripoff, yeah. I mean, again, I disagree with that, but that definitely disagree. Or, I mean, agree. I'm sorry. Wait. Let me clarify, bro. Agree? Disagree. I mean, obviously, that last part is just a matter of opinion, but this is just fact. All right, so We have Toriyama and Nakazawa, as you can see here. This is just Nakazawa's takes on these different pieces of art. I will say, despite the fact that, this Goku is kind of just repetitive, it is always nice to see Nakazawa still in the game sculpting figures and stuff like that. And maybe it would be cool to be able to display this with this piece of art too in the background. Well, yes, this one definitely, but of course, that one is more so what I meant. And, funny enough, Baggy literally read my mind. 4 new lines, all started by Goku and all boring Goku choices. A 5th new line is planned in September. Solid Edgeworks is the only one with second release, the Trunks, but the line has no uniformity, different sculptor, and non-walking pose. Clearly no plan for Dragon Ball prize figures, yeah. Definitely doesn't seem like they have any, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, clear intentions or... they don't really have a solid plan for it, I suppose. August Adverge Motion will have Goku versus Kefla. Ooh, but this means yet another minifigure of Kefla and smaller than the WCF one. Meanwhile, we have the same commercialization over. Yeah, I don't know. It is kind of weird, I will say, that we have this as minifigures, but then this is what people want as big prize figures, and then they make more Super Saiyan Gokus. Very weird. That's the lineup which previously announced Saiyanar, Goku versus Vegeta, Nappa and Raditz rather. Alright, so keep on keeping on here. She's just doing the generic power-up pose in the WCF. Huh. Yeah, Dragon Ball Adverge Motion is always supposed to be the characters in motion rather than just the standard pose. Very interesting. Looks like Kuji proper is sticking with the Ichiban Show branding in Asia, so more or less means no standard release for Asia. Alright, so BOS line is usually done in pairs or triplets like the GT ones, with no expectation of the first 2 specials, with the expectation rather of the first 2 specials, Super Saiyan Goku and Omen Goku, so there's a good reason the next one might be Vegeta. Ooh, I would love that. Be interesting to see what they decide to make metallic with Vegeta. I really, really hope that that's the case. Yeah, so the special ones here are, let's see. So here's the pairs, right? We have Gogeta and Vegito, which I'm going to review those at some point. I've taken a look at both of those. I like both of those figures a lot. As you can see, we have the Super Saiyan Goku and the Majin Vegeta, which are a pair. We have Kaioken Goku and Rose, which are also a pair. Funny enough, these are the only 2 I don't have, but I don't particularly enjoy the face sculpts on those. And funny enough, Rose's I don't think is that good, but the rest of these I quite like, actually. But the special versions of these guys that Baggy is talking about are just not pictured here. A bit of trivia on the BOS line. It was originally called Legend of Gold, but obviously that wouldn't make sense for subsequent releases. But Legend of Saiyan was already an old line, so hence BOS was born. Huh. That's pretty cool. Legend of Gold, Son Goku. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely always keen to learn something about figures. Alrighty, so here we have the Dragon Ball Adverge Motion 5 with a blue background and a red background for some reason. That's funny. Yeah, the blue one is a lot easier to see this. So, of course, Dragon Ball Adverge is the poses that Goku and Vegeta took next to each other. There's so many different figures of this now that I think there's so many good setups you can do. I mean, Pop has a version of this. We're getting a prize figure of this form of Goku, and we assume that there's going to be Vegeta, of it eventually. We now have this. Very, very interesting. Obviously, this is Nappa's attack. Raditz when he lands. Very weird that Kefla is just in that kind of static pose, though. I don't know. Very, very interesting. We'll have to see what becomes of that. Western fans can relax. The May Slime Kuji release date in Japan is May the 29th, and the Ichiban Show listings for the Western drop for the rest of the May stuff, like the Dragon Ball one, but a few weeks later. July DB Kuji Japanese release is the 31st. Listings should drop in a few weeks then. Phew! Definitely good to know. Also, this is a pretty cool slime figure. All right. So the deadline for August pre-orders for distributors is April 8th, which means April 9th could be the earliest we get the September prize figures revealed. July deadline was March 18th, and August got revealed March 19th. I have no expectations for the new line at all. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see what becomes of that for sure. Yeah, I can definitely agree with this one. The fact that Gohan release has proven so successful to the point Master Source pieces are releasing again, albeit the normal version, more than half a year later, shows how poor the planning for new prize figures actually is. Yeah, but at least it's this one because this is a good figure. Alrighty, while we're waiting for Wafer 3.0 samples, part of me did wonder if the redesigns might seem chibi like the snacks art. Huh. Very interesting. Alright, so we're actually getting one a month. Didn't expect that. Gogeta on the current schedule in October. Okay, so these are the 8 Band Press World Figure Coliseum figures left to schedule. We have exactly 8 months of 2021 left, so unless we get one a month, these will go into 2022. And as you can see here, Baggy says we are getting one a month. Didn't expect that. Gogeta on the current schedule to release in October. So yeah, we've already had this guy kind of release. He's still hard to find. We had this guy obviously release already. And then this guy, of course, is releasing now. So yeah, very good stuff there. By the way, I did get to see this Deku in person. And I believe this was also the All Might that I saw in person. I might actually buy this All Might because it is fantastic. Such a good figure. And honestly, the Manga Dimensions version of it is so cool, and it works so well for All Might. I actually got to see this Deku figure as well in person, and I do not collect My Hero figures. I actually have another Deku figure coming in the mail that I pre-ordered, but oh, it looks so good in person. So definitely might be a future cop. I don't know, but that is finally everything that we have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. Definitely if you stuck to the end as well. I know this was a super long figure news video, but obviously considering that A, you know, I didn't get to do the news until today, and B, I think there's just a lot of stuff to cover in general. You know, I want to thank you guys so much for sticking with me. If you made it to the end of the video, definitely comment below what your favorite prize figure out of these is, and also let me know you made it to the video. Comment like banana if you made it to the end of the video, and then everybody will be confused. But yeah, definitely let me know out of all of the new upcoming prize figures in terms of what we're getting here, what you think is your favorite. I think mine is pretty obvious. With that, though, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.